أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم عليكم السلام أولم يروا أن الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات. In continuation with our discussion on worldview and the very important task that we have to work on our worldview, to adopt the ideology, the perspective on life that is taught to us by the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. This worldview is fundamental for us to gain. And we saw in these nights that we've discussed together how such a worldview, such a perspective on life gives about a lifestyle. And this lifestyle brings about beauty in our life, brings about change in our life. Tonight, we would like to discuss about rizq and the worldview related to our financial stability, our income, and what should be our perspective in relation to how much money we earn and how and from where do we get rizq from. When you look at the Holy Quran, you find that Allah reminds us that He is Razzaq. Allah is the one who provides. And so the first aspect of this worldview we have to always keep in mind is that it is Allah that provides. It is Allah that grants us our rizq. And Allah does so with hikmah. Allah provides the way He wants to provide. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا Have you not seen أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ Have you not seen that Allah is the one who expands, who gives provision, gives rizq to whoever He wishes. وَيَقْدِرُ And He can also restrict the provision, restrict the rizq from whoever He wishes. In other words, Allah gives according to what He wants and He takes according to what He wants. So this is the first aspect of this worldview that we have to realize, brothers and sisters, that if we gain anything, it is from Allah. He is the Raziq. However, when we explore this further, we realize that whilst this rizq is granted to us by Allah, there is a requirement from us as well. What is that requirement? The requirement is called effort. In other words, that yes, Allah grants us rizq, but we have a responsibility. And that responsibility is what? Is to put efforts. Effort in working, going out to work, effort in giving sadaqah, effort in dua, effort in hard work. This is our responsibility. This is the second aspect. The third aspect, which is very important, and that we often neglect this aspect, is that yes, Allah is Raziq, He is the one who provides. 2, I have to do the effort. But 3, the result of my effort is not in my hands. In other words, I work hard, but I don't stress. I work hard, but I don't stress. Because the efforts of my work, the efforts of my The results of my work, the results of my efforts, they're not in my hands, they're in the hands of Allah. And this is the worldview that we need to adopt. This is what the Quran says. This is what the worldview that we have been told in Islam. That look, you have to understand this, that Allah provides, you're required to do effort, but don't stress about it. The result of your effort is in the hands of Allah. So let's explore this in a bit more details, in 3 points. The first point, let's talk about hard work. We find a lot of stress, rather a lot of emphasis in the riwayats about hard work. There's a hadith whereby Muhammad ibn Munkar says that I once went to advise Muhammad ibn Ali al-Baqir alayhi salam, and what happened was that he advised me and he admonished me. So the person asked him, what happened? What happened that you went to admonish or advise Muhammad ibn Ali and then he rather turned around and admonished you? He said that I went one day outside of Medina and it was a very hot day. And when I came, I saw in one of the fields, Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam was working very hard. He was working on the land, he was sweating, hard work, in order to earn some money. And so I came to him and I admonished him, I advised him, I said, what is this? That I see you sweating to earn some money in this heat. As if telling him, like, why are you running behind the world? Like your grandfather wasn't like this, striving so much to earn some money, to earn a living. So look at what the Imam tells him. فَقَالَ لَوْ جَاءَنِ الْمَوْتِ وَأَنَا عَلَى هَذِهِ الْحَالِ. If death comes to me and I am in this state, it will be okay for me because I'm engaged in an act of worship. This is an act of worship that if in this state I die, I'll be very happy. I'll be honored to meet Allah in this state, in the state of working hard to earn a living. And he explains to him, and the person then turns around and says, I came to admonish you and I got admonished. So you find that it was a seerah of the Ahlul Bayt and the Prophets to go out and work. Unfortunately, we don't have a good, or we don't discuss this often about the lifestyle of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. We should know that the Ahlul Bayt were hard-working people. They would go and work. Some of the Imams were very rich. They had a lot of money, a lot of wealth. Not out of gifts, but out of their hard work. And so Islam emphasizes that we should go out and work. Umar ibn Yazid says once to Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam, he's asking about the situation of a person. He says, a man, if he decides to stay at home and offer salah, fasts, will rizq find him? Let's say he stays at home, doesn't go to work, but he spends time fasting, praying. Will he gain the rizq? Allah's promised rizq. Will he gain it? The Imam says, هَذَا أَحَدُ الثَّلَاثَةِ الَّذِينَ لَا يُسْتَجَابُ لَهُمْ. This is one of the three categories of people that Allah never accepts the dua. A person who abandons work and stays at home. In another riwayat, Ayyub says, I came to Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam and I saw that I saw the Imam and I came to him, I told the Imam, oh Imam, pray for me. Pray for me that I get sustenance. You know, we say iltimas dua. So Imam, pray for me so I get rizq. Look at what the Imam says. The Imam says, La ad'u lak. I'm not going to pray for you. What? I'm not going to pray for you. Utlub kama amaraka Allahu azza wa jal. Go and seek the rizq. Don't come to me and say, pray for me, O man, for me to get rizq. Go and seek it. Go and work hard. Go and earn it. I'm not praying for you. So, hard work is very important. And it's very beautiful. Alhamdulillah, the youth I've met over here, working part-time in the summer, even during the school year, alhamdulillah, trying to work, university, we're trying to work. It's very, very good. That in our lifestyle, we should have this, that we constantly are working hard, doing things to keep ourselves busy. A lot of exercise, a lot of hard work to earn money. This is very beautiful. Don't think that you're away from the religion. This is spirituality. This is the seerah of the Ahlul Bayt. That you look more like the Ahlul Bayt if you are amongst the youth who are constantly striving to earn money. Definitely. Imam Baqir alayhi salam says, إِيَّاكَ وَالْكَسَلِ وَالضَّجَرِ. So I don't like people who are lazy, who get bored. It shouldn't be the case that you have time in your hands that you say, I don't know what to do with my time. No, go and work. Go and find projects. Get active. This is that which is taught to us in Islam. Yes, having said that, brothers and sisters, the balance is important. Life-work balance is also very important. There's no doubt that when we say hard work in its own place. If I need to work from 9 to 5, I put all my effort into make sure that I earn a good living. But that should not come against my responsibility or be an obstacle towards my family, an obstacle towards seeking knowledge, an obstacle towards my salah, towards my children, towards social life. No, everything in its own place. A mu'min, a believer, has a balanced life. He has time for his ibadah, his worship. He has time for his family, for his children, his wife, his husband. He has time for social, to come to mosque. He has time for seeking knowledge. He reads a book, takes courses, and at the same time has time for work. This life-work balance is essential. When we talk about hard work, in addition to balance, another point that's important is halal. That you are told that we need to earn and work hard to earn. But brothers and sisters, it should always be halal. You have heard this very famous sentence from Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. When the Imam is talking and giving a khutbah on the day of Ashura or in the plains of Karbala, and the people, it's as if the Imam is speaking to them and they don't understand anything. So the Imam asks, وَيْلَكُمْ مَا عَلَيْكُمْ أَن تُنْصِتُوا إِلَيَّ. It's like you hear me, you hear my speech, but you're not answering my call to the truth. What does the Imam say? He says the reason is because your bellies are filled with haram food. The reason why this army of Yazid, the son of the Prophet, is speaking to them, they don't have the courage or the understanding to answer him. Rather, they start making noise with drums. Why? The Imam answers the question. It's because your bellies are filled with haram food. So halal income is very important. For halal income, brothers and sisters, knowledge is important. I feel sometimes that many of our community members, many of our youth, they want to seek halal income, but they don't know how. They haven't learned the ahkam. This is not right. As a community, we need to organize courses. We need to ensure that our community members are aware what is halal and what is haram. Very interestingly, once Amir al-Mu'mineen, can I request all the brothers to come a bit forward so those who are coming in can have some space. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ahsant, may Allah reward you, inshallah. Once Amir al-Mu'mineen in the mosque of Kufa, he sits on the minbar and says, Ya ma'ashar al-tujjar, O businessmen, O traders. He's talking to those who are working. He says, Ya ma'ashar al-tujjar, al-fiqh thumma al-matjar. First learn your religion, have the fiqh, then go business. And the hadith says, he repeats this 3 times, al-fiqh thumma al-matjar, al-fiqh thumma al-matjar. First learn your ahkam, know that which is halal and haram in relation to your business, then go do business. This is very important. The selling of alcohol, interest, cheating in business, going against the law, etc., etc. So many of the ahkam that we need to learn to make sure that when the food that we bring at home, it's not haram. We have in hadith that there are two things that are very rare in this world. Very rare. Another hadith, they're all compared to special stones. That certain stones are so rare in this world. Two things are even more rare than this. What are those two things? In some hadiths, it's also said that in Akhirul Zaman, they're even more rare than any other time. Those two things is what? One is a good friend, and two is halal income. If we're blessed with these two, we should thank Allah a lot. And we should work towards this. Work towards good friends. And secondly, work towards halal income. In bracket, I'd like to mention a story related to halal income to just show you how important this is. And it's also because it's related to today's affairs as well. Imam al-Kadhim tells Safwan, one of the companions, he says, Ya Safwan, kullu shay'in minka hasanun jamil. Everything about you, Safwan, is beautiful, I love it. Ma khala shay'an wahid. Except one thing. Imagine, the Imam tells Safwan, I love everything about you. You're jamil. Except for one thing I don't like about you. He says, oh my mom, what? Ju'altu fidak, are you shay? What is it that you don't like about me? So the Imam tells him that your business is to lend camels. So he would lend camels for money. The person would take the camel, right? Like how you hire a car today, right? You hire the camel, take it, drive it, and come back and pay the money and go. So he would lend camels. Harun, the Khalifa of the time, would come to Safwan and hire camels to go to Hajj. So the Imam tells him, I don't like this about you. So Safwan says, but I don't lend my camels for him to go into haram. He goes to Makkah with it. He goes to Hajj with it. So the Imam says, when he hires your camel, do you wish for him to live long enough so that he comes back and pays you the money? Of course, my business. He says, you wish for the Taghut to live? That's not correct. To this extent, that you should be careful. Today's world, we have this boycotting, and we have to make sure that we don't support the oppressive regime. We don't support things that are going to end up in killing our brothers and sisters in Islam. This is a responsibility. We shouldn't take this lightly. As much as we can, we need to ensure this is part of halal income. It's interesting. The story carries on. Safwan goes and sells all his camel. So I'm done with it. Next year, Harun comes. Safwan, what happened? He said, I sold my camels. He said, why did you sell your camels? He said, I'm getting old, don't have any help. He said, no, I know who told you to sell your camels. He said, I know Musa ibn Ja'far told you to sell your camels. And then he comes up with an excuse and leaves it. So you see how important it is for us to make sure that we work hard in a balanced lifestyle and ensuring that we earn halal income. This is very, very important. This is the first point, the first aspect of this worldview. The second aspect, brothers and sisters, I'd like to share is that it is very important for us to realize that part of spirituality is related to financial stability. We talked about this in the beginning series as well, that sometimes we compartmentalize religion. We say religion is related to that which is in mosque. We have to realize that no, religion is a worldview. And when we approach everything in our lives with this worldview, this is part of our spirituality. This is part of being a Muslim. So when we earn in this world, when we go out, you are actually working towards your spiritual growth, working towards getting closer to Allah and achieving a purpose. And therefore we have so many hadith, very ajib hadith, about how a person who goes and earns an income, the reward of him is like the one who becomes shaheed. And how important is to earn and have financial stability. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, نِعْمَ الْعَوْنَ عَلَى التَّقْوَى. The best help for taqwa, what is it? He says, al-mal, wealth. Wealth is so important. It's part of our lifestyle. There's multiple hadith about this, that when you earn a living, when you become financially independent, you are actually helping your religion. You are actually growing in your spirituality. This is very beautiful. And so, brothers and sisters, this worldview that we are trying to adopt, it tells us that, look, when I go out in the morning, and as we mentioned, when you leave the house and you say salam to the 12th Imam as you leave the house, remind yourself that you are actually doing something very spiritual. You're actually growing in your spirituality, going closer to Allah. And every part of this hard work is rewarded. There's goodness in it. As long as it's halal, as long as it's balanced. Generally, as part of our growth, you find that the Ahlul Bayt have emphasized on working even when you can afford not to. Interestingly. Mu'adh, he was a garment seller. You sell clothes. And then the Imam sees him one day in the streets and asks him, Mu'adh, what is it that I've seen that you don't have a shop anymore, or you don't go to work anymore? Have you become weak? What's happened? Or what has happened? So the Mu'adh tries to bring about justification. So Mu'adh says that I have enough money for my livelihood. I don't have any debt, so I don't think I need to work anymore until my death. The Imam says, لا تتركها. Don't abandon business. Don't. Go back to work. فَإِنَّ تَرَكَهَا مُذْهِبَةٌ لِلْعَقْلِ. Interesting. So if you stop working, then this will affect your intellect. This will affect your reasoning. Keep on working. Your mind keeps on working. Your mind will be active. Keep going to work. Don't stop working. Brothers and sisters, Islam has so much emphasis on financial stability that we have many hadith about savings as well. We are told, make sure that you have a savings. The hadith says that a person who has a saving, he knows how much he has for the future. This brings tranquility to him. It makes his life stable. People ask, are we allowed to have savings in Islam? Of course. It's very important to plan for the day ahead. Very important to save in order to provide for our future, provide for our children. Amongst the rights of our children is that we live mal in inheritance. We live wealth in inheritance. It's part of our duty. Salman once, the story goes that people came to Salman once because Salman, whenever he would receive his salary, he would save enough for a whole year. Salman, the great companion. So the people came to Salman and started to rebuke him. So what is this, Salman? Maybe tomorrow you'll die. Why are you saving for money for the whole year? So look what Salman says. Salman says that as much fear that you have that you'll die tomorrow, you should have as much hope that you'll live tomorrow. Your fear and hope should be equal. Yes, you should have the fear that you die tomorrow and you should be prepared for that. But at the same time, you should also have that you'll live tomorrow. Therefore, you should be prepared for that. And therefore, Salman saves for a whole year. And many traditions like this about the value of saving. So this second point is for us to realize, brothers and sisters, that as part of our worldview, Islam gives a lot of importance to financial stability. We talked about it yesterday as well, that the hadith says that you should earn so that you don't become dependent on others, so that you stand on your own feet. This is part of the value of stability and financial stability. As for the third point, And this is where we need to work even more. That we have worked very hard, halal, balanced, and that we have acquired financial stability. The third aspect is that we should not stress about it. That we should realize that whilst I work, the efforts is not in my hands. And this, brothers and sisters, is very much life-changing. It's a perspective. That I realize that however much work I do, the rizq is from Allah. The rizq is not a result of my effort necessarily. It's not. This is why you have so many hadiths that says, look, Allah has provided you. You will not die until you gain the rizq that Allah has written for you. Correct? The Ahlul Bayt in multiple hadith. I was going to the hadith today only. One after the other, so many beautiful hadith. About how is it that mankind is so worried about rizq. The Imam is complaining, why are you so worried about your earning? You will get what is written for you. You will acquire what is written for you. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Today, one of the things that people are very much affected with is the stress of work. Is our financial stability. Will I be able to provide? And so Islam teaches us, look, this is why I spend the first part. Work hard. You have to work hard. That's your responsibility. But the moment you close the shop, the moment you come home, relax. Don't stress about it. Don't let it pull you down. The stress of what's going to happen tomorrow. Am I going to have enough or not? Is my work enough or not? Once you've put the effort, you've done your responsibility. The rest is in Allah's hands. يا ابن آدم لا تحمل هم يومك الذي لم يأتيك على يومك الذي قد أتاك. Say, don't burden yourself with the worry of tomorrow, a day that hasn't come. On top of the burden of today, it's already here. Work for today. In other words, put your stress and your focus on what's happening right now. Tomorrow will come. It's in Allah's hands. Allah will provide. فَإِنَّهُ إِنْ يَكُنْ مِنْ عُمُرِكَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ فِيهِ بِرِزْقِكَ. If Allah will give you life tomorrow, He'll also give you the rizq as well. That same Allah will allow you to live tomorrow, He'll also provide for you tomorrow as well. Many hadith you find the Imam reminds us, look at nature. Look at the animal world. These animals, they come out, the bird comes out in the morning from the nest, comes back with food. Who provides for those birds? Who provides for the animals? Who provides for the fish? Allah. You think Allah will provide for the entire creation and abandon you? No. Allah will provide for you. Why are you worried? Don't stress. However, for us to acquire this is a few things. One is that we have to realize that this formula works if it works in halal. That your duty is that you work in a halal, then the rizq that comes, that is provided by Allah, will be that rizq that you actually is worthy of you as a believer. Let me explain. Amir al-Mu'minin once comes to the mosque on a horse or a donkey. He comes down and he finds a person nearby and says, look, take care of my horse, of my donkey, whilst I go in the mosque, pray and I'll come back. The guy says, no problem, of course, I'll do it for you. The man, as soon as Imam Ali goes inside the mosque, the man takes a saddle, steals it, runs away. Amir al-Mu'minin comes out of the mosque with 2 dirhams in his hand. He made the intention that when I come out, I'll give the person 2 dirham for taking care of my horse. As he comes, he realizes the guy's gone, the saddle's gone as well. So he tells his slave, he says, here's 2 dirham, can you go to the market and buy a saddle? Because we need a saddle to mount the horse. So the slave goes to the market and he sees the same saddle being sold for 2 dirham by the same person. He gives him the 2 dirham and he buys the saddle. And when he comes back, he tells Amir al-Mu'minin about this. The Imam says, what happened? that person, his rizq was written that he'll get 2 dirham. It was written for him that he will get 2 dirham today. However, he made a choice of earning this 2 dirham in a haram way. He would have got the 2 dirham. It was for him. But he had a choice. He could have stayed there, earned it halal way. He chose to steal it and earn it in a haram way. Our life is like this. We are responsible for the effort in a halal way. The rizq will come. The rizq will come. What we have to always remember is that I put the effort in the right way. If I'm able to put the effort in the right way, if it's in a halal way, Allah will bring it. Sometimes we try to cut corners, try to do it in a haram way. That which comes our way is the same amount that would have come. You just made the wrong choice. You see the worldview? The worldview is that you know Allah will provide. Don't stress. You make sure that you do it in a halal way. You make sure you put the effort. It'll come your way. Another very important point about this that we don't need to stress and we need to realize, there's a rule over here. The rule says that Allah grants you min haythu la yahtasib. The hadith says, and Abi Abdullah salam, that Allah an yaj'ala arzaqaka al-mu'minin illa min haythu la yahtasibun. The rizq of the mu'minin, Allah has placed it in places that they don't realize, they haven't accounted for. So if we work hard, but we don't stress, we realize that Allah will provide from places that we don't know. Many times it happens. In fact, many of our elders, if you ask them, they'll tell you that sometimes in our lives we realized that doors open that we not expected it. All of a sudden, an opportunity came. Sometimes in the midst of a problem or of a challenging moment, suddenly a door just opened. Min haythu la yahtasib. I didn't even know where that happened from, where that came from. Sometimes you check your account, you're like, I don't remember having this much money. Happens all the time. For a believer, it happens all the time. That's why they say, don't be too rigid in your accounts. Sometimes let your accounts be like, I don't know. So you get surprised. Like have a drawer in your home where you don't know what's inside. And sometimes you open, you're like, hey, this $200 just happened. Or you put your hands in your pockets and money just comes, you're like, I don't know where that came from. It came from Allah. We believe in this. It's a hadith. We realize that the way the system works, the way the creation works, Allah is in charge, Allah is the raziq, Allah provides. And Allah provides not just based on your effort, not just based on my effort. But many times He provides from places that you don't know, you don't realize. As long as we have faith in this. That's why we don't stress about it. I do the effort, I repeat, I do the effort. But the effort doesn't need me to stress. I don't stress. Let me share a hadith. It's a very interesting hadith, a lot of learning point from this hadith. Sheikh al-Saduq in his Amali reports this narration where a person comes to Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, فَجَاءَهُ رَجُلٌ مِنْ أَصْحَابِهِ فَقَالَ لَهُ عَلِيُّ بْنُ الْحُسَيْنِ مَا خَبَرُكَ. The Imam asks him, مَا خَبَرُكَ? What's up? What's your news? How are you doing? You okay? This person says to the Imam that I have a loan of 400 dinar that I can't pay and I have a family to feed. In other words, I'm financially struggling right now. When the Imam hears this from his companion, tears start to flow from his eyes. فَبُكَاءً شَدِيدًا. The Imam cries a lot. So this person asks him, like, what did I say? Like, why are you crying? So the Imam tells him, is crying not reserved, or crying doesn't happen when there is calamities, when there's difficulties and trials. So the person says, yes, usually when a person is faced with difficulty, he cries. So the Imam says there is no greater difficulty for a person when he hears a mu'min ask for help and he can't help him. When he witnesses poverty and he can't help him. So the person understands that the Imam doesn't have the capacity to help right now. So then the person leaves. After some time, the person comes back to the Imam. Because what happens is that whilst the conversation happened, people were listening. And word started to spread that what are these Shi'as? On one side, these Shi'as, they claim that the Ahlul Bayt, they control the heavens and the earth, they have everything in their hands. And on the other side, they can't even provide for their own companions. What is this contradiction? So this companion comes back to Imam Sajjad. He says, Yabna Rasulullah, this thing that the people are saying about you is more difficult for me than my poverty, than my difficulty, financial difficulty. So the Imam tells him, here's, what I can give you is my iftar. That's all I have. What is it? 2 loaves of bread. Very hard, very, very hard. Old loaf of bread. 2 of them. He said, that's all I have for iftar today. But here you go. May Allah grant you a lot from this. So the companion takes these 2 loaves of bread and he goes and he enters the market. Whilst he's entering the market, he says that I was thinking to myself, like, what am I going to do with these 2 pieces of bread? So it's like, what can a person do? I have a family to feed. 2 old, hard loaves of bread. Anyway, he starts walking and he finds a fish seller. He goes to a person and sees there's some old fish. He says, can you give me 1 fish for a piece of bread? The person says, no problem. He gives him like an old fish and takes the bread. Keeps on walking, he says, this fish, I need to cook it somehow, at least I can get some salt. So he goes to a person who has a bit of salt. He says, look, I need a little bit of salt. Here's some bread in exchange. So the person says, okay, no problem. I'll give you a bit of salt. You give me the piece of bread. So they exchange. This person goes back home. He puts the salt on the fish. He leaves it for a while, and then he starts to cut the fish. When he cuts the fish, there are 2 pearls inside the fish. 2 very expensive, amazing pearls inside the fish. It happens because fish are in the water, sometimes they swallow the pearls. Subhanallah. As he's wondering what just happened, there's a knock on the door. He goes and opens the door, he sees the fish seller and the salt seller. Both of them say, like, this bread that you gave us is so hard. We realize that your status is like, you're much more difficult than we are. We give you the fish and the salt for free, here's the bread back. So they give him the bread back and they go away. So this guy is like, just got fish with pearls. I also have the bread back as well. Then here's another knock on the door. He goes to the door, opens the door. The messenger is from the house of Imam Sajjad alayhi salam. He tells him, "O companion, the Imam is saying, can you give those 2 loaves of bread back, please? Because it's our iftar. And nobody else can eat this type of bread except the Ahlul Bayt." You see what happened, brothers and sisters? Min hayth la yahtasib. From nowhere, it's possible that we gain rizq. Possible that doors are opened for us. It's possible that we are blessed with the rizq from Allah from places that we don't know. So, the hadith carries on, I'll skip it. So to conclude, the point that we want to realize and the worldview that we want to adopt is this: that Allah is the one who provides. And if I strongly believe that Allah provides, and Allah provides from places that we don't realize, and Allah provides to the believer based on what is good for the believer, I trust that. Then I have a responsibility to work hard. But at the same time, I have a responsibility not to stress about it, not to constantly worry about it. The worry aspect has to go away because I trust that Allah will provide. That which is written for me will come. Yes, I need to do the effort. I need to give the sadaqah. I need to pray. I need to do sila rahim. All of these things are related to my efforts because they impact my rizq. But this never comes with a level of stress. A believer doesn't stress. A believer is not worried. And whatever he earns, he is content from it. This is why one of the questions that people ask to students from the Hawza, when you go to the Hawza, people ask like, what happens? How do you earn money? Obviously you don't earn money, you're studying all day. What is it that the Hawza students and teacher will tell you? They tell you, because we're doing our responsibility, our hard work is in this, Allah provides. And truly Allah provides. Truly Allah provides. Now, I'd like to end with one very important point. So this was what the worldview. Inshallah, we're able to work on this. One more point. And this is very key. Brothers and sisters, earning, going to work, financial stability, paying the bills, paying the mortgage, is not the goal of our life. It's not. We have a higher purpose to achieve. All of this are just a means for us to reach higher. Unfortunately, in the world that we live today, in the culture that we live today, life rotates around work. Everything is about work. Everything. My whole life is about just work. Even when I go play football or watch TV or be with the family, in my mind is constantly work, and I do these things so that I can work better sometimes. Not realizing that we need to take a step back and realize that work is a means. Earning is a means. Financial stability is a means for a higher goal. I was created for something greater. In other words, when you go to work, in your mind, you're not constantly thinking about work. You're constantly thinking about something else. You're not worried about work. You're worried about something else because you have a goal to achieve. You're like, let me get this work done so I can go and do something else. We're constantly just doing work and we forget that we have something else to achieve. We have another goal to achieve. We're just working. Sometimes becoming workaholic. And all the stress and the mortgage to be paid. Yes, those are very important. We talked. Hard work is important. Financial stability is important. But we have to realize that all of this is just means for us. There is a higher goal for us to achieve. We need to gain knowledge. We need to get closer to Allah. That's our goal. We need to gain that. There's work related to that. There's effort related to that we need to put time towards. Let us now move to the Masaib and the remembrance of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Take your hearts to Karbala. On a night like tonight, we want to remember a young soldier, the youngest of soldiers. This musibah today, we have seen it in Palestine. We've seen these babies being slaughtered. We've seen mothers cry. We've seen fathers cry over the loss of young children, of young babies. But nothing is compared to what Imam al-Hussein went through on that day. As the noise of the swords turned quiet, as the sound of horses became whispers, a soft voice emerged from within a cradle. The cry of a baby across Karbala echoed. This is recounting the story of Ali Asghar. A thirsty baby a mother did witness. Don't be surprised if tears had no wetness. Dried lips can still have a smile when a father picks up his child. Picture the scene as Imam al-Hussein picks up his baby. Let's go ask for water, come with me, O Ali. Incredible strength, I will be in need, O Ali. Buried between the sounds of Ashura, the cry of a baby calling out Al-Atasha. My throat has dried, my eyes find no tear. My cry has no sound. Put down your spears. This is what Ali Asghar is saying to the enemy. My throat has dried, my eyes find no tears. My cry has no sound. Put down your spears. The waves of Furat burst with agitation. The clouds suffered to hold back their precipitations. Tears were flowing from the eyes of the animals. But alas, no drop reached the tried throat of Ali Asghar. If this was the end of the story, perhaps to bear this would have been easy. But alas, for the arrow that didn't miss its target. Suddenly, a heartbeat went quiet. On the day of Ashura, as the companions went to the battlefield one after the other, they achieved their martyrdom. Zuhair ibn Qayn went. Habib ibn Madahir went to the battlefield. Musib ibn Awsaja went to the battlefield. All of the companions achieved their martyrdom. The time came for the family of Imam al-Hussein to enter the battlefield. The first one amongst them was Ali Akbar. After him, Qasim went. And Muhammad went. To the point where there was no one left except Imam al-Hussein and Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Brothers and sisters, in this story it is Imam al-Hussein that is picking up the bodies every single time. A point comes when Al-Abbas also goes to the battlefield and he too attains Shahada. That body is not going to be picked. Al-An inkasara dhahri. At this point, the loneliness comes up. This is the loneliness that Imam al-Hussein feels on the battlefield on the day of Ashura. As we mentioned earlier, he comes to the battlefield. At this point, he's all alone and he sees an army ready to shed his blood. He looks on the right and he looks on the left. There is no one to help him. He calls out, Ya Muslim, Ya Hani, Ya Zuhair, Ya Muslim, Ya Habib, where are you to help me? And then the Imam calls out, Ama min mughithin yughithuna liwajhillah. Is there anyone to help us for the pleasure of Allah? Oh Allah, at this point the Imam is calling out to every one of us who is there to help the Imam. However, no one replies. The battlefield is quiet. أما من ذاب يذب عن حرم رسول الله. The Imam calls out, is there anyone to help the family of the Prophet? All of a sudden, there is cries that are heard from the tents of the family of the Prophet. So the Imam heads back to the camp. He comes nearer to the tents. What is happening? I am still here. Why are you crying right now? It seems that no one wants to answer. No one wants to say what happened. But they tell him them, there is a baby who was crying. Your Ali Asghar, when he heard you, he's been crying non-stop. Ali Asghar's thirst was so intense. It says that in the Maqtada, he went from one lady to another. Brothers and sisters, the mothers will understand how difficult it is when a mother cannot feed her baby. How hard it is for her. At this point, there is no milk left. The baby cannot be consoled. It goes from the hands of Rabab to the hands of Zainab. It goes to the hands of the ladies. No one can console him. Imam al-Hussein takes this baby. He says, give me my son. He holds Ali Asghar gently in his arms. He kisses him. Oh, my dear son. He says, let me see if I can get some water for you. He takes the baby and he starts going towards the battlefield. Don't you want to say to Imam, stop? Please don't carry on. But the Imam carries on. He approaches the enemy. It is quite clear that he's not here to fight. He tells the people, oh people, if you have no mercy on me, then at least have mercy on this little baby. What has this little baby done? You have killed my companions. You have killed my family. But this infant, this baby is thirsty. Please don't stop from giving him water. The Maqtal says there are a few instances that Imam al-Hussein, in the middle of his speech, is cut. There's a few sermons that he gives in the middle of his speech. He is not allowed to carry on. Brothers and sisters, this is one instance. Whilst he's still speaking to the enemy, whilst he's still asking the enemy to help this young child by giving him water, all of a sudden, Allah, an arrow pierces. He feels the pain in his arms. He looks down, blood is rushing. He does not know what to do. This is a father holding a little baby. All I came for was asking for water. What is this response that you give? The Maqtal says the Imam takes the blood. He holds his beard. What have these people done? He turns to Allah, oh Allah, this is easy for me because you are looking at this, because you are witnessing this. One Maqtal says that he threw some blood towards the sky. No blood came back down. This is a sacrifice that was accepted. But I have one question. I want to say one thing. Whilst the Imam is holding this baby, I wonder if he looked back towards the tent. How am I going to take this baby back to his mother? I took him to take some water. How do I take him back to the mother in this state? How do I take him back to Zainab? How do I take him back to Sakina? The Maqtal says the Imam goes towards the tent. He stops back. He says, where shall I go now? Shall I carry on? Shall I go towards the tent or come back? This is one of the hardest moments in the Maqtal, holding this baby in such a way. In the end, some of the Maqtal says the Imam buries this child. He buries him in secret. Nobody knows what happened. But still he has to go and face the mother. He still has to go face Zainab. And they see the Imam come to them without a baby. They see blood on his shirt. They see the Imam, when his face is clear, something happened. This is the patience of the women of Karbala. They don't say anything. They go back towards the tent. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.